What's up, friends, family, and fans? Got the shades on to match the shirt. I don't know how long they will stay on for, but it's what's going on. I just saw them on my desk and they are prescription. So there you have it. I am half blind sometimes. It is episode 24 of Back 9 Bets, people, and it's Bustin' a Justin. However you want to take that one, take it. We've got a full slate of picks, bets, the whole shebang, some DFS nonsense, a little bit of chit-chat here and there. We're going to break down the course a little bit with the model, see what's cooking. Without further ado, let's get into it a little bit, yeah. Let's get into it. Here we go. What are the key stats? Well, we have been dealing with only 1 week of... let me take these off. I can't concentrate. We've got one event of data going on at TPC Craig Ranch. And that kind of skews things because it was wet and rainy. It was a different field. It was just all sorts of stuff. There's not a lot of information to provide a nice solid set of data in order to pursue precise and accurate estimations of where people will be hitting from and what statistics are important. So we're going just with one year of data. Okay. Yeah. So that's what's going on there. Off the tee. Important about tour average. Always like to go off the tee. Whoops. Off the tee, accuracy, not necessarily that big of a deal. The same as tour average, just a little bit more, which actually doesn't seem correct. Considering if you look at the golf tournament, you look at the top of the leaderboard, I don't know. Approach, critical. Critical approach, very important. And putting, 0.63. So that's a whole 0.3 more. And approach seems like it's significantly more. I don't know why. It just is the way it is. And then if we do this, we take the average. I can't see it's 71%. From 150 and out, which is very important. So that's pretty much the majority of the shots are coming from 150 and out. Wedges, not necessarily going to be a factor this week. There we go. Let's check the model out. What have we done in the model? Well, 12% for baseline strokes gained approach, 5% for last 24 approach, split it up into those different ranges that we will see. Hopefully it's right. Hopefully it works out. But also, if the course does play a little bit longer, all of these kind of just shift in this way. And we've got a good chunk of it just shifts. So basically the only thing that changes is the 250 plus. But that's still, I think, going to play a factor here because of the par fives. So strokes gained around the green. We are actually going to take that out of here. I don't think that's necessary. Do that. Nope. Not changing stuff on live TV. That's not what's happening. It's been a long day. Sorry about that. I am a little distracted as always, but we'll get into it. We'll get into it as it goes. So I'm going to keep the 5% for around the green just because why not? Then specific putting. They are playing on bent greens this week. Very important. So 10% for bent greens, 5% for the last 24 rounds of putting. And this 10% for bent greens is the last 50 rounds they've played. Birdie percentage, 15%. It's a birdie factory, people. We will see a lot of birdies most likely. 25 under par, won it last year. 4 par 5s, all very scoreable, 15%. Let's ride. Yes. Off the tee, last 24 rounds, 5%. Good drives gained, 5%. 5% for strokes gained off the tee baseline. Simple. Just kind of keeping the off the tee game in the mix. It's not essential. If you play well off the tee, it can help though. Approach, putting, birdie or better, par 5 scoring. Those are the 4 that matter a lot this week. 10% goes into the last 24 rounds. All of those stats we just showed you over here count for 75% of the total value that a player gets in his power ranking. 24 rounds, most recent, count as 10%. Course history, 5%. And then World Golf Ranking, another 10% to give you a whopping 100. 38% for 2022 data, and 62% for 2021 data. And that being said, let's get into it. Here is the model. We've fiddled around with some stuff. We've got the base spent putting differential in here. We've got a whole bunch of things. So let's get this good drives. Let's get the accuracy out of here. There we go, blah, blah, blah. Let's get the short game and around the green. We don't necessarily care about that. And then we can zoom in a little bit more. There we go. So now it's a more user-friendly view. Justin freaking Thomas. Bustin a Justin. He is the number 1 ranked golfer in the model, and he's easily one of the best golfers in the field. Why? We're all golfers. But anyway, his model ranking is even higher than Scotty Scheffler's, who's the world number 1 right now. This golf course suits Justin Thomas's skill set to a absolute T. He is first ranked in all 3 approach metrics: baseline approach, recent 24-round approach, approach from 150 yards and out. He is the best in the field. Very, 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 very nice to see that from JT. I mean, that's obviously what he does. He's so good with approach. Then let's take a little peek over here to the putting on the last 24 rounds. And we've got Justin Thomas sitting inside the top 20 putting last 24 rounds. Friends, family, and fans, that is something you don't necessarily see all that often. Justin Thomas inside the top 20 putting last 24 rounds. He's gained 9 strokes in the last 20 rounds he's played. Yes, that's what we love to see. Usually Justin Thomas is dealing with negative strokes gained on the putting green. This time we head into the week and he's got some momentum. He does have some momentum going into the week. Par 5 scoring, 4th. Birdie or better, 1st. Beautiful, beautiful stuff from JT. We'll just do that until we get past this beautiful back 9 bets logo. So Justin Thomas, I mean, he's 10-6 in DraftKings. I haven't really updated these ownership rankings yet since the morning, but he's going to be high owned, and we are going to eat it up. We couldn't get a bet in on Justin Thomas. I feel like I'm a lot more risk averse in a DFS scene versus, I'm a lot more risk accepting. I'll take on a lot more risk in DFS than I will in the betting market. I don't know. Bet more money on the betting side, probably. So that's why we do that. So I couldn't get myself to bet on Justin Thomas at 12-1, although the model says he's the best player in the field, and the odds reflected that for the most part. Scotty was $1,000. He was a clean 1,000. Now, Justin, on the other hand, I love DFS because you can go and get a guy like Justin now. Why? It makes even more sense to play him here because you can get him at any price. You know, that's the best part about DFS is you can go and get a guy. You don't have to lay $50 for him to win your outright return. So 10-6 DK dollars. Love that. And then, don't love that. I mean, it's expensive, but we'll take it. Quarter of the field will have Justin Thomas in their lineups, and we'll probably have him in 100%. I don't know. We're going to lock him in. Let's go. I'm obsessed with Justin's ball striking. Putting is cooking right now. And then, he just dominates par 5s and makes a ton of birdies. Off the tee, he had a bit of a rough ride around Augusta, which wasn't quite his cup of tea at all. But that is what it is. Scotty Scheffler. I don't know. I just have, like when you get a gut feeling that you either have a good guy or don't. Scotty Scheffler just doesn't seem like, although he's a second-ranked guy in the model, I'm not leaning towards him. Why? The main fade that we have is because he relies a lot on his scrambling to get some scoring done. If you're scrambling around this golf course, you're most likely not going to be in absolute contention because you need to hit a lot of greens and make a lot of putts in order to do well around TPC Craig Ranch. Scotty Scheffler can do that, but between him and Justin Thomas, I think Justin Thomas is just the premier ball striker. So we like that a lot. Scotty is a better putter, but I think JT is just going to be so goddamn dialed this week. We got to pick someone at the top. We're going to go with Justin over Scotty. Then, next up in the model, Xander Schauffele. X-Man. X going to give it to you in a team event at the Olympics at the most random tournaments ever. Xander Schauffele is going to win. Now, this event seems like it's a tournament that I think Xander, it doesn't seem like it's catching a lot of buzz. It doesn't seem like it's an event that is putting a lot of pressure on players. Most of the people that are playing in this tournament that can win it are already playing in the PGA Championship. So there's a lot of tune-ups for a lot of people. I'm sure you've heard that on every podcast you've listened to. However, Xander Schauffele at 9,700 and 14% according to this morning's takes. I don't know. It's probably going up a little bit. Who the hell knows? But if we do this, the beauty of Xander is he's sandwiched in between some people. He's got Sam Burns underneath him and Hideki on top of him with Will Zalatoris over there as well. So he's going to get overlooked a little bit, probably, compared to his fellow, whatchamacallits. So I love Xander. I absolutely love Xander in DFS. So we're going to go there, especially if his ownership stays to a decent amount of percentages, aka under 15-ish. We'll take it. Even under 20, I don't know. I'll probably go there as well. I really think he's going to do well. There's not a lot of pressure going on this week. And I think Xander thrives under zero pressure. Unless, that's just what he does. I don't know, man. He's a weird guy. He doesn't have that X factor. Excuse the pun. So we're going to go to Xander. We'll play him in a bit in DFS. We're going to go there. I mean, he's been playing fantastic golf. Just everything about his game sets up really nicely for this open, wide track. Approach plays okay. Got a great baseline. Putts really nicely on bent. He's one of the best putters up at the top here on bent grass. We like Xander. We do like Xander. Then Sam Burns. Holy cow. We've got Sam Burns for a plus 120, top 20. So that's kind of where we are with that. If he finishes inside the top 20, we cash. Make ourselves plus 120 back. Then his ownership is through the goddamn roof, which is understandable. He came second here last year. His birdie-making ability is fantastic. He hits his driver a country mile. He does everything that you can ask for from a golfer. Dominates the par fives, very good off the tee, very good on approach when he's playing the best. He seems like he's kind of jiving. Putting well as well, outside of Xander, he's the next best putter up top here. So at least on bent and over a long period of time. So we like Sam for a top 20. If that ownership is at 28%, I'm not sure. I am not sure if we're going to go there. It's probably going to get into the 30s. I mean, the guy, he's mispriced. He's $9,500, which is crazy. So unfortunately, hopefully he should have been in the 10K range, but it is what it is. So top 20 plus 120 Sam Burns. Let's go. Hideki Matsuyama, great model fit, great course fit, the whole shebang. I have no idea. This guy, just a mopey Asian that just keeps running around there with injuries. I don't know why he's like that. I don't know what his dedication to this week will be. He's been withdrawing all sorts of stuff. And you know what? I think that there's like not a lot of leverage going on with Hideki if he's sitting at 15% owned. If you were to risk an injury on a guy, it's got to be sub 10 in my opinion. So especially up top here, a guy with that kind of injury history. I mean, hopefully he's okay prior to the PGA Championship, but who the heck knows? Joaquin Niemann, plus 170, top 20. We love that number. Joaquin Niemann, inside the top 10, recent form, last 24 rounds, he's 9th. Recent all baseline strokes gain total, he's 3rd. So, yeah, Joaquin Niemann is the guy. We are going to Joaquin Niemann for a top 20 at plus 170. He does well making birdies. He does well on the par fives. And you know what? He's our sixth ranked guy in the model, and he's sitting at the bottom of this 9K range. which I think is going to be a delightful treat for us. I think we're going to go to him a little bit in DFS, compared to his buddies, Sam Burns, 28, Will Zalatoris, freaking 22%, Jordan Spieth, who knows what putter's going to show up. If his putter shows up this week, boy, watch out. But if it doesn't, watch out. So that's what's going on there. We just went Joaquin plus 170 for a top 20. Dustin Johnson, 7th in the model. What do we love about Dustin? Well, his ownership percentage is 10%, which I think could even go lower. I don't know. There's a post-wedding hangover narrative that's going on. People not a big fan of him. They think he's not practicing enough leading up to this. I don't know. I know that I've played some of my worst golf when my expectations were my best golf when my expectations were the lowest. I was also not a professional. I don't know if you need, in order to play well, to have practiced your ass off. But we're going to go to Dustin Johnson in the DFS field, in the DFS market at 10-2. And he's going to be paired with Justin Thomas because we already said he's going to be in every single lineup. So we've got some guys down at the bottom that we really like that we can sneak in the 7s and the 6s. So DJ, all day DJ. Jordan Spieth, 20% ownership. I mean, he's been playing much better. His last 24 rounds off the tee, better approach. Last 24 rounds, he's getting there. Is he the best with longer irons compared to the rest of his approach play? Not necessarily. His putting is almost the worst in the field. And we've got Luke List in the field. Yeah. So, I mean, he's 10 spots ahead of Luke List. It's ridiculous. So that's not very good for Jordan, that guy. And he's 20% owned. So we're going to skip him. Will Zalatoris as well. Holy cow. Man. These orange boxes that we go with are the people that we like, but they are fat ownership. So, Will Zalatoris, ball striking phenom, everything about his game from the long irons are sizzling, always very nice. Played well here last year, 14th. At a putting contest, at a putting event where you have to putt well, look at Will. He's like last 24 rounds, he's in the middle of the field, which is okay. But his baseline is 107th, kind of like Hideki. So if we're fading Hideki for injuries, we could probably do it for his putter as well. And it seems like whenever Will has putted on bent, it doesn't necessarily work out that well for him. However, that is the last 50 rounds. They don't play a lot of tournaments on bent, at least not recently this season. This is only the second or third event that they've played on bent. So recent putting progress is not necessarily reflected in that number. But if we're going to fade Will Zalatoris because of the putter at a putting contest at 22%, that's only going to go up, I think. I don't see it being much less than that. Understandably so. I mean, he's getting hyped. Seen a lot of people talking about Will Zalatoris. Brooks Koepka, not interested in him at all. Probably going to bite me, but just not interested in the guy. Not interested in him at all. Taylor Gucci. Recent approach play, not as good as his baseline, but also still not too bad. Putts okay on bent. Does okay. I don't see why. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think we're going to go to, you know what? We're not going to chat about Taylor Gooch. We're going to talk about Jason Kokorak, who we have a top 20 bet on at plus 230. He finished 13th at Augusta, losing on approach. I mean, the guy's just a strokes gain factory off the tee. Absolutely nukes it. And he is a very good putter on bent grass. He's a very good putter in general. Dominates par fives and makes a lot of birdies. Now, his recent form, a little sketchy. $8,300 at 6%. This guy's won a tournament this season already. Why are we not going to him? 6%, yes, his recent form not ideal, but he's a good putter. If we're going to have, he's going to have so many birdie looks, hopefully. I know his approach play hasn't been that good, but these greens are much bigger than normal. And if you want to look at it this way, he hits it quite far. So he is going to be hitting himself further down the fairway, which makes it easier for him to hit the greens. And he's going to be doing that all the time. He's also not too shabby from long distance, not ideal, but everything about Jason Kokorak's baseline seems appealing to us. And we're going to go there because it's going to be different. If we're going to go with JT Chalk City up top, we've got to get a little jazzy downstairs, yeah. Especially if we throw, I don't know. I really want to put, Sam Burns just suits this golf course to a T. So maybe we go JT Sam. And then, between Sam and Jason Kokorak, we can call it 35% ownership total. 36 for easy math. And then if you did Sam and Will Zalatoris, that's almost 50%. So you're saving a full 12% in ownership if you combo Kokorak with Sam Burns, which I think, whatever. I'm not comparing Kokorak to Will Zalatoris. Let's compare him to Taylor Gooch, which, is pretty close to Willie Z's ownership anyway. I'm rambling about random stuff. Let's move on. Jason Kokorak plus 230 for a top 20. He finished 20th at Augusta, which I think from a ball striking standpoint, you can almost kind of compare to this golf course. Putting, completely different situation, much bigger greens, but I feel like the openness, the easiness off the tee can be a little more Augusta-like. So, and that's what Jason did well. Seamus Power in the yellow. He is our first outright. Yes, he is. I wrote him up in Rotoballer Breaking 100. Go check that out. It's pinned on my page on Twitter at the Model Maniac. Go check it out. Pretty much got a write-up and all the nice stats and reasons why. If you don't want to listen to all this nonsense, go check that out. But I'm assuming if you are listening, why read the article? Plus 250 for a top 20 as well. And we have not necessarily bet Seamus personally. We bet him for Breaking 100, but now, since then, Brian Harmon has withdrawn, so we will be placing our money on Seamus. Seamus is, and this is a problem, his recent approach play has been not very, very good, but we go into a course that he played well at last year. He's actually putting very, very nicely unbent. Putting recently, not necessarily the best, but now we're going back to a course that he can unleash. He's been playing these tight RBC, Wells Fargo, just all these tight, difficult Arnold Palmer Invitationals, all this stuff where he just can't unleash. Got to play tight, difficult golf. Let's see what Seamus can get up to at an open course where he can just bomb it away. $7,900, 10% owned all day long. Big time on Seamus. We were big on him last week at a different course. I like him. I like him a lot. I like it a lot. Maverick McNeely, we do like him a lot too. He's 14th in the model. Understandably so. He's been putting fantastically, putts nicely on bent. Last 50 rounds. Does great in the birdie and par 5 stats. Everything about him is fantastic apart from his 19% ownership. We'll easily just jump to Patton and Seamus and Jason. I'm not in the mood to deal with Mav. The Mav man, we don't got his back. Patton Kazai, on the other hand, we do have. We are going to Patton for a outright at plus 100. Yes, sir. Patton Kazai, plus 100. Sorry, 100 to 1. Whew. 100 to 1 for Patton. We are going there. His recent approach play, freaking-tastic. Freaking fantastic stuff. He makes a lot of birdies, putts better on bent than his baseline. Hasn't been putting that well outside of the players. So hopefully he can get back to a course where he played fantastic golf last year. $7,100, 8% owned. Let's go. Sign us up for that nonsense. If we're going to get Maverick McNeely 78 at 19, let's check out Patton. I mean, not playing as well as Maverick recently. He, let us down once or twice, I think, in the last few events we bet on him. But this golf course suits him very nicely. So we're going to go there. Absolutely going to go there. Patton Kazaya, 100-1. Aaron Wise, $8,100, 17% owned. Ooh. I understand. The ball striking, fantastic. We're going to a putting contest, people. Going to a putting contest. If you're going to give me a guy that's got questionable putting at 17% ownership, if we faded Willie Z because he can't putt, we're going to fade freaking Aaron Wise as well. We've got pivots. We can pivot elsewhere. We can go to Patton. We can go to, what is he? It's $8,100. We go Jason Kokorak. We'll go Sepp Straka. We'll go Keith Mitchell. We'll go all over the place. Who's this guy? Mark Leishman. Yes, we'll go to all those people. We know that Mark Leishman can putt when he wants to. So let's just ignore Aaron Wise. Jonathan Vegas as well, 14% owned. I mean, the guy just came off elbow surgery and just decided to have the best ball striking week of his life. How does that even make any sense? It makes zero sense. Absolutely zero sense. Does nicely here, does great making birdies, dominates the par fives. That's okay. Guy's just a freak show ball striking wise. Now he's got a bionic elbow that's apparently churning out career best every time he plays. Sheesh. Anyway, Adam Scott. So you know what? Screw it. We're pretty good at dodging chalk on this show here on Back Nine Bets, episode 24. Bustin and Justin. Jonathan Vegas. Put him in our DFS pool. I like it. You know, we're allowed to have some chalk every now and then. You eat the forbidden fruit here on Back Nine Bets. Adam Scott, our third outright at 66-1. The Aussie, the supermodel maniac. Adam Scott, 66-1 to win this freaking golf tournament. What do we love about Adam? Well, apparently Adam can't putt. But according to my statistics that are very objective, his recent form putting is fourth in the field. His baseline putting on all surfaces is fifth. He putts the 15th best in the field on bent over the last 50 rounds. But Adam Scott can't putt. I don't know. Maybe Fantasy National's lying to us. Maybe the PGA Tour website's lying to us. I think Adam Scott can putt just fine, according to these numbers. It's $8,700 on DraftKings, 10% owned for a guy that we think can win this tournament. He's a Masters champion. It's a putting contest. Adam Scott's one of the best putters in the field. He also hits it a country mile. Got zero accuracy. But that's not necessarily that important this week. Also, we didn't really care too much about off the tee stuff. What do we care about? Approach play. Recent approach play, not that decent. 41st, could be better. What do we like more about his approach play? The fact that his baseline from 150 and out is super solid. So hopefully we can get outside of that short range that Adam's been struggling at and get into the longer irons. I understand. Personally, myself, I prefer hitting a 7-iron versus a pitching wedge. It probably doesn't go as close, but it just suits me. I don't know. I come at the ball very steep. It is what it is. Adam Scott, I think we can equate to me. He's got the same swing, same beautiful swing, the whole shebang. Distance, 18th. You can just crank it out there. So when it's in the fairway, it's going far. Putt's fantastic. Not the worst ball striker. Makes a decent amount of birdies. Hopefully dominates the par fives. I think with his length, it doesn't make sense that he can't do that. What I think his biggest issue with the par five ranking here is his around the green game is pretty shitty. It is very, very, very bad. So, yes, as you can tell, you're not going to be dominating par fives if you can't chip because you're not going to be hitting the green from all the way out there all the time. However, around this golf course, it's not necessarily that big of a deal because the chipping areas are easy. The greens are big. You're going to be hitting them all the time. He's going to be putting. And he can probably putt from off these greens. It's Zoysia. I don't know if you can putt on Zoysia. Who knows? Anyway, enough chit-chat about Adam Scott. However, we're going to be going to him quite a lot. We like Adam. Sebastian Munoz as well, $7,600. Look at his recent off the tee stuff. Look at his recent play in general. Why are we only going to a guy 10% at $7,600 when he's 11th in the field in recent performances? What is going on here? Yes, Sebastian Munoz all day long. Yeah. Approach play, 24th in the field. Long iron play. So if you've listened to this channel before, what I love to, it's like it's deducing, we're deducting, we're taking X and solving for Y using Z. So this approach column right here is baseline approach, 2021, 2022 numbers. This number, 150 plus, means it is a baseline number as well. So these two are using the same time frame. Now, let's get back to Sebastian here. So his proximity numbers from further away for the same period of time for the same data set is 20 spots better than his general approach play. Now, his recent approach play is also 20 spots better than his baseline approach. So then if you take his long irons and add it into the recent approach play that he's done, that 24 from 150 out has to be inside the top 20 by now. I should probably grab proximity numbers for the last 24 rounds and throw them in here, which we go in great places on back nine bets today. We just figured out that we can add another column here. We'll get that for next week for the PGA Championship, which will be very important. Birdie or betters for Sebastian Munoz, 15th. Par 5s, 29. Beautiful stuff. Not, course history wasn't necessarily that great. So, okay. Siwoo Kim is one of the most solid golfers in the field. We're going to put him in a decent chunk of our lineups. He's just so consistent. Look at this, 15th in the last 24 rounds. The guy is just plodding his way along. Does not necessarily make a multitude of birdies, but 27th in the field is not bad. Par 5 scoring is 15th because the guy's just in the fairway giving himself great approach shots all the time. He's tidy around the greens, I think. Putting is a bit of a concern, but he definitely putts better on bent by 35 ranking spots. So we love Siwoo, $7,800, 6% owned. We're going to need some low-owned guys, especially he's 20th in the model. Let's go, Siwoo! Sepp Straka, our fourth outright. 80-1, Sepp Straka. Best putter in the field right now. Going to a bent surface that he's better at compared to his baseline by 21 spots. So we're taking the best putter in the field. We had a bit of a rough week at Wells Fargo last week on bent grass, which is a little bit of a concern. However, those were excruciating, torrential circumstances. I'm just throwing words out of here. He played not too bad last time he played at this golf course, 20th in the field, history-wise, $8,100, 10% owned. Sepp Straka in the DFS pool as well. Yes, Seppi, exceptional. Straka, let's do it. Look at that recent form. Third in the field, last 24. He's $8,100. What the Sepp? What's going on here? Let's get that scepter in there. I'm going to throw as many Sepp puns as we can, except for Keith Mitchell. Our fifth outright. 100-1. Keith freaking Mitchell. Off the tee, the guy's the best in the field the last 24 rounds. Decent approach play. Can putt very nice on bent. Actually putts much better on bent. Guess what bent was at the CJ Cup when he blew a 6-shot lead over the weekend to lose to Rory. However, hopefully Keith can get lucky and suck in the beginning and then putt the way he did at the CJ Cup a while ago. He does very nice on par 5s. He does fantastic at this golf course, 22nd, not fantastic, but good. Birdie or better as well. Not bad. 25th in the field. $7,500 and 11%. Let's go. Great price, great value. Keep an eye on the ownership. But I think we like him there. Especially if we throw a bit of Siwoo and Adam Scott. Sebastian, we got some guys we like that are under 10%. So that can easily keep us under 20% if we combo him with Keith. We love that. Tom Hoagie, his recent approach play is kind of dwindling. He's not necessarily the best putter in the world. Puts better on bent. Doesn't do well on par fives. Lacks a little bit of length. Short game, a little sketchy. Didn't do too hot here last time. Leaving him alone. Tommy Fleetwood as well. Lots of people big fans of Tommy at 9K, 11% owned all the way down in my model. Guy just scrambles all day. He's very, very, very good around the greens. And that's not going to help you. Because if you can get up and down, it means you've missed the green. And these are the biggest greens on tour. I think Jonathan Vegas hit 61 greens last year, according to Greg Duchamp on the First Cut podcast. So, yeah, leave Tommy Fleetwood alone. Matthew Neesmith, actually, let's go to Matthew Neesmith. Par fives, not too bad. Putting, bit of an issue. Let's make him just like a nice little green so we can remember to, well, we just, there we go. Okay. Matthew Neesmith, we like his approach play. And also his approach play has got better. It's got better recently. It wasn't that hot once upon a time. He's also not too shabby from 150 plus. So let's see what he can do. You know, the putting is a bit of a concern, but $7,300, let's go there. Mark Leishman, $7,800, 9%. We know Mark Leishman is fantastic from 150 out. He's a very good putter. The baseline putting on bent grass is a catastrophic concern, actually. However, let's ignore that because he actually played not too shabby the last time he played here. He's also made like 4 birdies at the Wells Fargo in a row. I mean, he hit the shank out of a bunker that pretty much derailed his whole tournament. So hopefully he can get that taken care of and go forth. I want to say we like Mark Leishman, and a lot of people do, and I know he can play very well, but I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Adam Hadwin. He may just be, I mean, we're going to go with him. An outright at 65-1. I think it's 55 now out there on the market. Still not a bad number on Adam Hadwin, who's finished T26 and then 3 top 10s in his last 4 starts. So we've got him for a plus 320 for a top 20, Adam Hadwin. Plus 320 for a top 20. That is bananas. The guy's just finished inside the top 20, 75% of his last 4 starts, and we hang a plus 320 on him. He's the 4th best approach player in the field, has a baseline putting of 16th, hasn't been putting that well lately. But holy cow, he's striking the crap out of the golf ball. And he's plus 320 to finish inside the top 20. Sign us up. Also, he's going to win this damn tournament. I think he's going to win. Alex Noren. Also, his approach play has been very nice. Can putt very nicely. Not sure. Alex is a model menace because apparently Fantasy National has him as Alexander Noren. So I didn't pull it in. My bad. We'll get that figured out. However, we can check. Let's go see what his ranking is in whatchamacallits. Let's go find him over here quickly. Alexander Noren. There we go. Strokes on bent, last 50. Second. Holy cow. Let's do this. So, yeah. I think Alex Noren is going to be quite. You know what? Let's go. Let's change this to pink. Full send on Alex Noren. 12%, $7,900. We'll throw him in a few lineups. Look at this. Bent putting. Okay. I've changed my tune. 27th on par 5 scoring. Not terrible. $7,900. Alex Noren. Striking the crap out of it. Putting the crap out of it. Fantastic on bent grass. All day long. Let's go. Okay. I'm starting to get a little exhausted. This is only water, so that's not even helping. I'm just staying hydrated. My mouth's thirsty. Lanto Griffin. I know my boy. I was on BetSperts podcast earlier today. So go check out that show. I retweeted that earlier at 2 p.m. this afternoon. It was a fantastic time being on there with the boys. I really appreciated that. That was a blast, actually. So that's a little, being on a podcast can take it out of you. So that's why I'm a little tired. It's been, pumping out articles left, right, and center, working, the whole shebang. It's a fun time living the life of Linda Q now. So Lanto Griffin, we're gonna do that because that was discussed on BetSpurt. So, playing nicely with his approaches, can putt fantastic on bent grass. He's around the green game's garbage, but it is what it is. Ryan Palmer. We're going to go to Ryan Palmer. 6%, $7,400. He basically gives me the same vibes as Jason Kokorak without the good putter. He's a Texas boy. If the ownership stays under 10 at $7,400, let's ride. Cameron Percy as well, 33rd in the model. I vetted him, and it's very bad. The baseline stuff is fantastic. His recent approach play is garbage. So we'll leave him alone. Emiliano Grillo as well. Also, look, he's a really good iron player typically, but his last 24 is just garbage as well. So leaving him alone. Carlos Ortiz, on the other hand, $6,800, 3% owned. Let's go. Yes. History, 18th. Birdie or better, 20th. Par 5 scoring, 23rd. From far, 150 plus, 11th. Yes, he's not playing that fantastic right now. You know what? Going to a golf course where 71% of the shots are from a proximity range that he absolutely dominates from. So let's go. Let's get Carlos Ortiz in the mix. 60-something, $6,800, 3% owned. This guy, he can play golf when he plays well. He's definitely got upside. Hudson Swafford, same thing, $6,700. Putts quite nicely compared to his baseline on bent. Does well in the par 5s and par and birdies. So let's go there. He's doing good stuff. Ball striking is starting to trend in the right direction. Typically better from further away. Kurt Katayama, I think his stock is going to skyrocket, and he's obviously going to be popular because he's been hitting his irons fantastically. Second in the field the last 24 rounds. Guy's been fantastic. Going to go to a longer golf course where, maybe his proximity numbers from far aren't the best. Who the heck knows? But we're going to just leave him alone. I don't know. Not going to go there. Sam Ryder makes a lot of birdies considering how bad his game can typically be. Putts better on bent, blah, blah, blah. JJ Spahn, recent approach play, very, very nice. Love to see that from him. Didn't do too bad. The last time, $7,200, 4% owned. Bloody blah. Moving down the board. Jason Day, we're going to leave alone. Pat Perez, 6th best putting on bent the last 50 rounds. Sign us the hell up. He's 1% owned according to this morning's pool. $6,700. Yes, the approach play, a bit of a concern. Everything about his game, a slight concern. But he is very good on putting, and he's $6,700, and he's barely owned. We're going to go there. Hank Lebioda seems to play very well at golf courses that require bogey avoidance. He isn't the best when it comes to making a bunch of birdies, but he's pretty damn good when it comes to making not a lot of bogeys. So we're going to go to him, although he played quite nicely here last year. I don't know. Hank Lebioda, we'll see. Let's hide this again. So yes, Hank Lebioda, we'll see. Ian Poulter, 43rd in approach, last 24. So he's starting to strike the ball better. And he's the 9th best putter on bent over the last 50 rounds. We know how well he can putt. $7,400, 2% owned. Gives you some nice upside for a man who's barely owned and very cheap. And then we're going to get to Matthew Wolff. 3rd in distance. Not bad with the long irons. Not bad from far away. Recent approach play has been garbage. Stats all pretty much suck. However, makes a lot of birdies, and he came back to the Wells Fargo, and after round 1, mentioned that he's going to be changing his mental approach, and it looked like he did. Had a smile on his face all the time, never got angry, he wasn't snapping clubs anymore, doing good stuff. Finished T26 at TPC Potomac, which I was saying Potomac last week. Apologies for that. TPC Potomac is a golf course I mentioned on BetSpurt's pod. It's like putting Matthew Wolff in a china shop, a wolf in a china shop. He needs wide open fairways, big greens. He's powerful. He can make a lot of birdies. let him go out there. He needs a big open field. His accuracy is hot garbage. Good drives gain, 135th, distance third. At this kind of golf course, gives him a good opportunity to just unleash. You know, you can hit your driver better when you know there's areas to miss. You typically play better. If you got a miss that you have to avoid, you hit it the other direction. It's just how it works. Nate Lashley let us down with a broken toe or a hurt toe in the middle of the round. Played bad, withdrew, just a mess. We do love him though. $6,800, 3% owned, playing very nicely with his irons. We'll go back to him just a little bit. Brian Stewart also playing very nicely with his irons. And guess what? He's one of the top transformers when it comes to bent grass. He's part of the Bent Gents tweet I sent out earlier. He is fantastic on bent compared to his baseline. So Brian Stewart, $6,700, 2% owned. Sign us the hell up. Roger Sloan as well. Played nicely here last year, and he's $6,300 and 1% owned. So, but he's obviously not as nearly gifted in the approach department. Recent form, disgusting. So if you're looking for a $6,300 just punt play, Roger Sloan might be the guy for you. Same for Henrik Norlander. Recent approach play, very sketchy. Putts a little bit better on bent. $6,200 though. And that is it. Oh, we had Paul Barjon. Look at his recent approach play, 47th, and then he putts very, very nicely on bent. This is only 16 rounds though. $6,300, 1%. Sign us up for Paul Barjon. So that's what's going on there. And Matthew Wolf, we've also got an outright for plus 130 to 1. Why the heck not? I mean, he was in contention for a little bit, and then the tough part of the golf course got to him. So that's what's going on. Back nine bets, Bustin and Justin. Thank you for following. Thank you for tuning in. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, please go do that. I really appreciate it. I've got big plans for this podcast now. Finally settled into breaking 100, figuring out a game plan there. So it's taken a lot of my time. It's taken a lot of my attention. As you can tell, I probably wrote an article for about 10 hours in the last 24 hours. So it's been a bit of a busy time for me. And I'm also working in between doing all that stuff. I'm at, working late. I can't even put sentences together anymore. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you guys for the PGA Championship next week.